What's up, YouTube? So, in this video, I'm going to be taking a look at Anthony Gordon, quarterback out of Washington State. So, looking at his stats before we get into it, 5,579 yards, 48 touchdowns, and 16 picks. That sounds really good. He did have a good season-ish. 71.6. Those numbers sound really good, and they are, but if you look at the amount of passes he threw, 689, that is going to inflate your stats pretty majorly, and also the fact that he plays in the Pac-12, throwing almost 700 times, that's going to inflate your stats. So that is something that you do have to consider. But yeah, we're going to be watching film against Washington and UCLA today. So looking at his rushing stats, this is a little bit deceptive because I think this includes sacks and stuff like that. So yeah, he actually does have a little bit of athleticism. He's not super athletic, but he's not like a statue back there, which is nice. So yeah, let's just get into the film. I do have some timestamps next to me, so I can, so we don't have to watch both of these full videos. I'm not doing that. Also, this is the channel that I'm getting this film from. I don't want to have to try to pronounce that because I won't be able to. And on the Anthony Gordon one, it's Hash. I've used his videos before. So, yeah. Anyway, let's just go ahead and get into this. This just shows a little bit of his ability to buy time and throw on the move. This isn't anything crazy, but this is something he does possess a little bit. So I just figured I'd show that. Actually, the next play is this one. This is something that's kind of a concern for me with him. Just how long he's holding this ball. Just standing there. And he's got people open. His decision-making is rough. Like, he snaps the ball at 19. Ugh. That's throws it 26. That's not great. And he does have people open too. Like that's the thing. Is he has a man down here, he has him. He was open for a while before he threw it to him. His decision making, that's it's my biggest concern with him. His accuracy is pretty inconsistent at times, but the biggest thing is his decision making. Next timestamp is 3:54. Okay, cool. This just shows a little bit of his athleticism. He's able to pick up a little first down there, and that's the type of thing he can give you as far as rushing the ball. As you see, he's not like super athletic, but he's also not a statue back there, which I don't think in today's league you can just be a statue. Yeah, but yeah, 5:41. Okay. See, this ends up getting picked off, and as you see, at first glance, it just looks like he just really overthrew his receiver, which isn't really the case. If you notice around here, he is trying to communicate with his receiver to go deep, but his receiver either doesn't see him or just doesn't listen or whatever. But he still throws this ball anyway. But as you see just a second ago, his receiver is just still standing there. Unless he's talking to this guy, but none of his receivers are close to this area. And he still threw it anyway. I know that he told them to go deep, but they didn't, so don't throw that. And this is kind of a problem with Anthony Gordon. He has a bad habit of, like, when he's throwing the deep ball, he throws it to a spot instead of throwing it to a man. And what do I mean by that is, like, if he has a man open, he's not aiming at the receiver. He's not trying to hit him. He's just throwing it to a spot and just hoping his receiver can go get it. Kind of like Josh McCown, a little bit. But yeah, I'm not a fan of that style because it really gives him a lot of over and under throws, and it's just not great. Also, going back again, it's third down, but also he's got a running back open right here too. And he had no one in front of him. That could have been a first down. So, there's that too. And actually, that's all I'm really going to show from that video. I'm going to move over to the UCLA game to finish my analysis. Yeah. Right there. He doesn't. I guess he's just staring down this receiver. You can see the linebacker's locked onto his eyes, so he's not really good at throwing defenders off with his eyes, and he just kind of zeroes in and just throws a really stupid interception. And he makes a lot of throws like that. Some of them don't end up getting picked off because it's Pac-12, but in the NFL, he's going to have a lot of interceptions if he doesn't improve on his decision-making. 118. Again, didn't see the linebacker. And this should have been picked off. It didn't get picked off, but again, he tried to force it into him. Not only did he not see the linebacker, but this dude's in double coverage as well. That's overall just a bad decision. And that's the type of thing that really hurts him. So, yeah. 127 is my next one. And just so I don't want to leave it on a negative, I do want to show a couple decent passes from him. Because it's not that I don't like him, it's just he really needs to improve his decision making. He kind of sidearms this ball, and it is pretty accurate. So, good throw there. Next one is 136. Actually, the next play. Just let it run. Nice little deep ball here. Throws with a little bit of touch, because that is something he is capable of doing. He can throw with touch at times, and that's the thing too. Like, he does show flashes of accuracy, but I just wish he would do that more. And that's a situation where I think he was throwing to the man, not a spot. I just wish he would do that a little bit more consistently. I've got one more play I want to show you. Another fantastic throw. Now, this guy was pretty open, but he dropped that in perfectly. And to be fair, I do wish he would kind of widen his base a little bit. I think that would help him out with some of his accuracy inconsistencies too. But yeah, he dropped that in perfectly with some touch. Good play. Overall, though, just giving my overall thoughts on him. I mean, it's not that I hate this guy. I don't want that to sound like what I'm saying. He has solid arm strength. It's not like elite caliber, but his arm strength is definitely competent. and he can throw the ball pretty far. That's not what I'm saying. I hope you're not thinking I'm saying that that's what's wrong with his deep ball, because he can throw the ball pretty far. It's just he needs to get more accurate with it, and he needs to throw to a man instead of a spot a little bit more consistently. Now, there are times where throwing to a spot is better, especially if you got like a really big receiver. Then that can be okay. If you've got receivers that are really good at doing jump balls, being able to do that too is good. But you know, I've shown a couple plays here where he can throw with some touch. I mentioned how inflated his stats are. Like I said, Pac-12, and the fact that he threw it almost 700 times. He does. I showed that he does have some athleticism, but also I've heard some criticisms of his leadership, but I've also heard things that contradict that. But obviously, I'm not in that locker room, so I wouldn't really know. But I just want to say that I have heard those rumors. Accuracy can be questionable. His decision making, as I've shown, it has to improve. And he throws really bad interceptions. Like it's not. It's one thing if you're a quarterback and you make the right read, the ball slips out of your hand or you miss somehow. That's one thing. But when you're just making blatantly bad decisions, that's a whole nother thing. I've also heard people comparing him to Gardner Minshew because, he's had some success with the Jacksonville Jaguars, but he's not Gardner Minshew. There's a reason that Mike Leach quarterbacks don't usually work in the NFL. Why most air raid system quarterbacks don't usually work. Their numbers are inflated and they get a lot of bad habits for the NFL. And I know Gardner Minshew is successful, but he played at other colleges and other systems before he went to Washington State. So that is something to take into consideration as well. He can throw on the move pretty decently, but he does hold the ball a little bit too long. Decent deep ball, and his field awareness and actually pocket presence isn't that great either. But I just think this guy needs a little bit of work. If you get him in like day 3, like 4th or 5th round, something like that, you might be able to work on him a little bit, work on his decision making and stuff like that. If you can fix those problems, then you might have a decent quarterback eventually. But I just don't have a very good feeling about this dude. I'm going to be honest with you. But yeah. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, I'd appreciate you hitting that like button. If you have any questions or comments, leave it in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.